I'm really glad that funnel's working for you, man. Let's rock and roll. I saw another one on your account live going. I saw another one on your Facebook page, the ecomgoatsmarketingagency.com. It's a really nice site as well.
I've got to
Every
change that. I've got to change it to the academy. That's
oh, that's-
why we could to change that.
oh, there you go. Well, that's a nice one as well, man. I thought that was a really lovely page. You're
Thank you. Thank
you're
you.
doing some good stuff. You're just generally doing some great stuff there, Ali.
Thanks, brother. Thank you very much.
Awesome. You feeling
Appreciate
good?
it.
Ready to go?
Feeling great.
All right, let's do it. Easy. Welcome back to the Coaches to the Moon podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure to have you here today. And another Sydney based guest, Ali Balaghe, the founder of Ecom Goats Marketing Agency. He's an e commerce owner, he's a branding coach, he's also a very loving dad, a fellow beard enthusiast, and an all round lovely guy from right here in
Thank you.
Sydney. Ali, thanks for being here, mate.
Alexander, the pleasure is mine, man. Thank you for having me on.
We met a couple probably about 6 weeks ago through a mutual friend, Adam, and I did a little bit of work for you, and I just, I just felt like you were a really fun person to talk to, and invited you straight on the show. I couldn't wait to chat for longer.
Amazing. Thank you very much for having me.
No worries, man. So, we were just chatting for the people listening or watching. We were just chatting about we're both working from home today, and it's nice to have that flexibility, but. Because we're both in digital business, but I want to bring it back to kind of your origins where you were on the route to sort of a more traditional, dare I say it, life and career. At school, I read that you did really well at school. You probably had some pretty high expectations on you, and you're a bit of a high achiever. You wanted to go and be a doctor for a bit. You're clearly not a doctor now. so,
Type
tell,
of diagnosis.
no, tell me a bit about that journey and what it was like being sort of an entrepreneurial guy in that more traditional system.
Yeah, of course, of course. It was very tough for me, man. I went into school always brainy, always smart. I was like the golden child in my family. Everybody expected me to be a doctor or a dentist, or I just never could see myself as that person. I would always do really well at school, very high achiever, done like 93 ATAR. Um, got into university, I absolutely hated it. Got in there, just cope with the work. I was doing medical science to start, and then yeah, got into the party life kind of, and just said screw it because I never had real value for what I was doing, and because of that, I had no purpose. I was very lost, and I got pretty much sucked into the social world, and you know how it is in university when you start partying. If you really get into that type of world, it's not going to work out for you. So I slackened off a lot in my studies, became a tradie, just thought to myself, I'm a failure. I might as well just do what everybody else in my area is doing. So I went into MBN. I was a laborer for 2 years, getting really abused at work, like abused, like 12 hours, 16-hour shifts, do this, do that. I felt like a slave. And then I said to myself, I'm in it. I might as well develop the skills, become higher at what I do. So I did. I trained hard. I worked hard. I learned a lot, and I applied myself, and I became a job site supervisor. I became a pit installer technician and a machine operator. I was on really good money. But the day came where you just never know what's going to happen. And the funny thing is, the dilemma is, people think they're so secure in a job where at any given time, if you have a physical job, you can injure yourself and then you are made redundant. You have zero value to the company. And it's all about what can you give to the company. It's not about you, it's about them. So I got injured one day. I was working. We had dropped. I was holding something heavy with somebody. He dropped it. It wasn't his fault. He dropped it, and my disc came out, sat on my sciatic nerve. I had nerve damage down my right leg for 9 months. It was very excruciating. I was bedridden, I was depressed, but it didn't stop me. So I said to myself, look, I've got a wife. I'm going to have a kid soon. At the same time, my wife got pregnant. There was a lot of pressure. Um, and then I stumbled upon e-commerce. I stumbled upon e-commerce, doing online courses, and I fell in love with it straight away. Fell in love. Um, and from then, man, it's just been success. Obviously, there's been failures. There's been plenty of failures, but from those failures, lessons, I've been able to create very great success. Work for myself. Have a company of 25 employees now. We've got a digital marketing agency and a coaching program. We're running those. I've also started two supercar businesses, one timber supply business as well, getting creative. So there's a lot of things in the works, and it all started by learning the skills of digital marketing, setting up businesses, um, importing products, supply, demand, all of these type of things that I learned without a degree. It was just all online. I mean, don't get me wrong, I spent maybe now about over $100,000 on my learning
Mm.
online, and applied many hours. Like I shifted that 12 to 16 hour per day, in work for somebody else, and I shifted it to working on my own business and my own skills, and I've reaped the rewards, thank God.
Thank God. Well, I'll end the podcast there because you've answered every question I was going to ask anyway. So thank you, Ali. No, mate, that's it's a really good journey, and there's some stuff in there I didn't know actually. So I'd love to dig into it a little further. Uh, I was reading through a little. So we do a bit of research on all our podcast guests and do a little bit of a bio. And what was really interesting was my assistant Christian when he in the digging, the little bit about your schooling, your education, it felt so similar to what I did, right? So I was the same as you, really good at school. Also had a 93 ATAR. For anyone listening,
Wow.
this means that Ali and I we're in that kind of top, percentages of people at school, and that mark means we can pretty much do anything we wanted to do at university.
Correct.
Um, but we didn't have the drive to do it. Interestingly enough, you went and became you tried uni for a little bit. I tried uni for a little bit. I was there for like 6 weeks, and then I went to become an apprentice chef. You went to become a
Wow.
labourer and a tradie, which is super interesting because everyone in our lives would have been like, especially I remember my girlfriend's parents at the time were like, oh, you should be a lawyer. And I was like, I don't want to be
Mm.
a freaking lawyer. Like, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. It's physical, it's fun. But there was always people going, Alex isn't living up to his potential. Alex isn't, he could be doing so much more. And I bet you had a lot of that when you went into NBN laboring, man.
Even my boss was telling me, even the boss, they hated me because like, what the hell are you doing here, Ali? You
Yeah.
done all this and now you they used to laugh at me. And I used to laugh
Mm,
at myself. I'm like, what am I like honestly, what am I doing here, you know? But
yeah.
it was all for a reason. It was all for a reason.
100%. 100%. And I guess like it's funny because one of my good mates, James Wellington, who now runs a huge digital marketing company, he was an NBN trench digger as well. So
Wow.
yeah, and he also used to work in asbestos removal,
Oh,
and he was. Did you do asbestos as
no,
well?
I don't know if I've got no, I don't want to joke about that.
Well,
Yeah,
he
it's
said
pretty
he used to
bad.
go in there with no freaking equipment on, or he used to just go into it, man. And now it's just funny that journey of it feels like there might be a correlation between people who have a certain amount of intelligence naturally, thank goodness, but then just really push against these traditional systems,
The
and then
system's
we
not for us.
yeah, it's interesting, man. A lot of most of my friends, I went to a private school in Wahroonga in Sydney, right? And most of my
Mm.
friends, they're all doing the job thing and they're doing really well. They got beautiful lives, probably much less stressful than my life because they don't run a company. But I just couldn't do it, and you couldn't do it, and here we are. I guess maybe 10 years after we finished school. How old are you?
I'm 28 next month.
There we go. Yeah, so 10 years after we finished school, I'm like 13 years out. We're back together on the internet doing a similar sort of thing. We've been through a similar journey, and it's just it's super interesting, man. So let's talk about uh, the time when you hurt your back and your job became your secure, high-paying job went out the
Mm.
window in 1 second. Now, this happened to everyone over the pandemic, right? So many people with a great secure job unfortunately lost their livelihoods because of the decisions of someone else. Super duper tough. So what was that like before you started to get into ecom and find success? What was that like for you as a new dad? A dad to be at home, high achiever, bedridden. You said it was awful. Let's dig into that a little more and what made you switch into deciding on a digital business.
So I'm going to be totally honest with you. I went through a lot of substance abuse when I was going through from 18 to 22 because I was very lost. I started attaching myself to the wrong people, attaching myself to substance, trying to fill some void that was just, I just didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was rebelling. Why? Because I didn't live up to everybody's standards. Everybody was putting me down. Like you said, Ali, you should be this, you should be that. That really got to me. So, in terms of how I dealt with it, I dealt with it with substance. I got addicted to a lot of bad things. Um, and then what happened to me when I got injured, they gave me pills, they gave me drugs, and I started taking the drugs again. And I said to myself, no, I cannot fall back into this pit. I've already hit rock bottom in my life at 21, and I've only been going up since then. So at 24 to 25, I cannot go back to this. And I said to myself, I need to do something. I need to challenge myself. It's time to invest in myself. I need to buy a course, something. I need to do something with my time. It was just me taking pills, smoking cigarettes, chilling, relaxing, drinking alcohol, having a beer in the daytime. They were giving me a wage to be at home. They were numbing me, they were shutting me up. But no, I had to do something. So when I went through that depressed state and I was feeling sorry for myself for at least, I would say 3 months. 3 months after my spinal surgery, I felt sorry for myself, but then I just broke out of it. I absolutely, actually, no, sorry. It's after I got injured because when I had my surgery, I was already running a business. I made like $10,000 from the hospital bed after my surgery. So I was very happy about that. But after my injury for 3 months, I was depressed. But then I got into a course. I'm not going to say whose name, but I bought a few courses, I bought a few programs, I invested, I set up a few drop shipping stalls. Um, didn't have success straight away, but I persevered and I created a brand early 2020, and we done $500,000 um, with that brand in 2020. So I was very happy about that. But it was very tough. It took a lot of mental strength in order to pull myself out of a rut again. But because I already have pulled myself out, it wasn't too hard for me.
You built that capacity for resilience, which is, you know, now you got 25 people, you got a few different companies. There's going to be shitty days again, I'm sure. I'm sure they happen all the time, and your
Of course,
capacity grows, right?
that's right.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
cool, man.
resilience is so important for a business owner. I think that's one of the biggest mindset things you need in order to run a company. Like I can imagine you're running a tight ship, Alex, and the amount of resilience you have is probably next level as well.
It's funny, yeah, because it's not where I need to be, because every level there's a new devil, right? Like, so
Hmm.
now, like, we don't worry about money anymore, but now we worry about like other things, like bigger clients with bigger expectations, or
Of course.
now I've got one of my staff is on maternity leave, so now I've got to fill up her position, that sort of thing. This is not a thing that I had when I was a solo coach, making 4 grand a month, and spending a lot of time at the beach. So 100%. But I am impressed with my own, you know when I zoom out and go for a walk at night and look at what I'm doing now compared to what I was doing 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm impressed by my capacity for stress a little bit, which is cool. So, but yeah, you man, that I didn't have that rock bottom part of the journey. So I'm really, really just so happy that you pulled through that and you found that course. We've all done a lot of courses.
Yeah.
Whichever one it was that clicked, that's great, man. So you did $500,000 in your first year. That's great. You found success really quickly, but I've also seen you talk about you're not really a fan of the gurus sort of pushing overnight millions with drop shipping, Lambos, all this kind of thing. How would you describe that first year of online business to someone who hasn't tried it yet?
Okay. First year of online business is all about trial and error and finding what works for you. Not going to something hoping that you're going to buy a Lamborghini the next month. It just doesn't work like that, guys. And if you are a person that is scared to fail, believe me, you will never be successful. Ever, ever. Because the most successful people have failed their way to the top. You cannot expect your journey to be like some other guru's journey. And let me tell you something about these gurus that sell these drop shipping courses and promise overnight success. Number one, they're just selling points in their sales process. That's all it is. They're the key features and benefits why you should buy my course. And most of these people do not know how to run a drop shipping business. And look, Well, after my experience and trial and error, if you are looking for an overnight success, you're gonna make the person offering it to you successful. You're never going to become that overnight success. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes learning, it takes failure, trial, error, and it might not work for you in the first year, second year, third year. But believe me, if you keep going, it is going to work out for you. It is definitely going to work out for you because the lessons that you learn along the way is what's going to build you into the business owner and company owner and man or woman or leader that you need to become. Every failure has a lesson, and every lesson is there to help you optimize and prepare you for what's to come. So just trust the process, guys. Trust it, honestly.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. The recording stopped briefly, but we're back. Got that whole thing in.
I got it?
Yeah, you got that in. You got that in, and then it stopped, and we'll just download these and clip them together. But you got that answer in, and I'm really glad that you said everything in that answer, man. So, yeah, like failure, obviously, we know that's a big part of it, ups and downs, but managing those expectations and telling people like you're in this for the long game, that's so important, right? Because your ecom goats marketing agency, you're basically helping people to start their own agencies, or not start their own agencies, but to not their
So,
own dropshipping, their own ecom businesses, not dropshipping, but their own ecom businesses.
correct.
um, and they're all pretty green coming in, right?
Okay, so we do a few things. I actually work with Century 21 now, and we're selling property through
Okay.
Facebook. So we're doing lead generation for property, for beauty salons, for service providers,
Hmm.
coaches and consultants as well. But our main focus is e-commerce brands. So what I'm doing with my agency is supplying them with web development, social media management, content creation, influencers, UGC content, graphic design, copywriting. We do absolutely everything for our clients, and also Google and Facebook and Instagram ads, and now TikTok ads as well. So understanding that when I talk about failures as well in a business, it doesn't mean the whole thing's going to fail if one channel didn't work. Now, as an agency, we help people scale through different forms of marketing. And yeah, through that, we've been able to gain so much experience and knowledge that after that, I created my coaching program to get beginners the right way into e-commerce. You
Got
know,
it. Got it.
I use my experience and my learnings and my failures and my successes to help new people. Not just I made one store, created a course, and then sold it. No, it's not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of those coaches out there, the business coaches who their business is being a business coach and they don't have a business, It's so funny how much
Limited.
we spend so much time on this podcast shitting on the coaching industry. But I love the coaching industry, but there's a bit of toxicity in it, and it'll get, uh, it'll get filtered out eventually. The fake people will get filtered out eventually. And yourself, man, you just seem like such a genuine dude. I know you're a genuine dude. You're actually, you're a super loving dad. What's it been like starting this business? Around the time of having a baby son. He's nearly 2 now, which is exciting for you. I know exactly how you're feeling. I've just been through that about 6 months ago myself. And do you think that changes the way you make decisions in your life and business, having the little man there?
So it's challenging, of course, running a business and running a family, but it has allowed me to create so much more purpose behind what I do. That's the main thing for me. That I'm not working just for myself now. I work for my family. I provide for my family. I help. I watch my son grow up and I can be there with him. I have the time to. I don't have to go work 12 hours a day, come back tired as shit, and then go to sleep, wake up, boom, never see him. No. See, the good thing about my father was he worked really hard, but he'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning, come back home by 1, 2 p.m., and after school he's there, you know. So that was super important for me as a father to be present. Being present is so good, and having an online business and having the freedom to work from whenever. I just go to my. I have an office, of course, but that's more for people to come in and see me and to create some content. I don't have to be there all the time. I don't have a boss telling me, "Where are you? Come to the office right now." Nothing like that. I go there when I want. I go 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, sometimes 0 hours a day. Meet with clients, do my thing, come back home to my son. you know. Obviously, if I'm working really hard, I've got to be away from it a little bit, but I can just stop the laptop, come back. Hey, son, you want to eat? Hey, son, let's shower. Hey, son, let's have a bath. I can be that father, which is super important for me. And my perspective on life has changed so much. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm glad that's happening for you, man. And it is nice. You're right. There's the days when you got to work more, but you can close the computer at 4 o'clock. I generally close the computer at 4 o'clock, spend like 3 hours with the family, and then if I have to go back to work at 7:30 for a couple hours, I
Mm.
do it.
Right.
Tonight I'm working from 8 till 9:30 tonight, and I'm gonna wake up tired in the morning. But that's fine. It's all good. Presence is an interesting one. I'll tell you what I struggle with, and I want to know how you go with this as well. As a digital business owner, yes, you can close your laptop and stop working whenever you want, but you can also get into work by just looking at your phone, and you can
Hmm.
check on everything, check on your ads results, check your emails, check your problems. All your problems and success are right there in your pocket. How have you managed that? And are you still dealing with those issues of finding that while you're being present with your family, you've still got all this other side of your life just on your phone in your pocket? What's that like?
Exactly. That's the devil. That's the devil of my business. So what I've done to help me is really delegate a lot of tasks to a lot of great people. I've been very blessed to be working with very intelligent women, very intelligent men. I've been able to attract really good people. I've got a great head coach. I've got an amazing admin girl. I've got an amazing operations systems person. I've got an amazing sales guy. Adam, he's amazing. His wife, they're amazing. Absolutely amazing people that work with me. They're passionate about what they do. So being able to understand all your roles and responsibilities and then say, I need to do? How can I let go? And being able to let go. It's not a one man band, it's not a one man show. And at the start of your business, it is. So letting go was the hardest thing of activities and training people. But right now, I dedicate most of my time to training staff and allocating. Like even Facebook ads now, I've allocated it to someone for um, for the students and the clients. I'm happy to take a cut because I understand with scale, if I want to build myself up and scale, I don't have to be making 100% of all the money. It's fine. But in order to be able to have the capacity to scale, you need to have the right people in place. So I do airplane mode after 10 p.m. I read, um, I do my things. But man, look, I'll tell you, it's hard. It's very hard. I'm strapped for time.
Yeah,
Uh, we have a lot of responsibilities as company owners, but I believe, look, I'm 28 years old. If I can do this for the next 5 to 7 years, really hard, I don't mind. Most people retire at 65. I'm looking to retire before 40. You
100%,
know,
man. Like, I think that's a really refreshing mindset as well. Like you're 28, you're young as, I'm 31, and I look at you
you're
like
young now,
I
bro.
still change my voice when I talk to people under 30. Like, hey, buddy, how you doing? What's it like? How are your knees, man? And it's just great to hear that just the insight of, even if I do this for 10 years, I'm still 38 years old. Far out. How good is that? And yeah, and then you've got, while you're doing your best to be present with your son now, and you're still building. There's going to be the times when you have to work a little harder, be a little more distant, but it's nothing like if you had a brick and mortar back in the day. Nothing like when
Hmm.
my dad was a travel agent. He had, 3 or 4 travel agencies, and he was always there Sundays, but apparently he wasn't there like Monday to Saturday ever. I think we went on a lot of holidays and stuff because he had to be out working, that sort
Hmm.
of thing. Can't just shut the shop for half an hour, come home, and then go back out. So it's super awesome in this day of digital business that we can do this. It is tough, but things like airplane mode, turning them on, that's a blessing. I try and do airplane mode up until 8 a.m. in the mornings, which I
Hmm.
do most of the time. That's my main time with the girls. Not always. I don't follow my own rules all the time. No one's perfect, but we're getting there. I think that mindset is good. But delegation is the main thing you touched on then, which I'd love to chat about as well. Because a few of our listeners are probably at that point where they're running a coaching business, and now if they can make sort of $8,000 a month just selling their programs, that's rock and roll. That's a really really good sole trader sort of salary, and now they want to move forwards a little bit, but they've got to make decisions to get there. They've got to sacrifice a little bit of money to get there, give away some control. Who was the first person you hired, and why did you hire that person?
So the first person I hired was a coach, Zena. She was my first person. Why? Because I was very invested in sales at the start, getting business in, content, sales. I had a system for client fulfillment, but to do everything was just insane. I was going insane. So in order for me to scale from like 5 to 10 students a week to 20 students a week, actually let's just say I was having 2 students a week, 8 students a week I was getting, yeah. In
Hmm.
order to scale that, I needed another person.
Yep.
So I hired her first. And then from her, I hired my sales guy, and then I had client fulfillment and sales done. Perfect. I focused on content, systems, and ads. Then I was doing debt collecting, payment plan debt collecting. It was destroying all my time. So I hired an administration person and debt collector. So she worked, actually, she was from the bank, a massive bank. She was big in compliance and debt collecting. She became a mum, she lost her job, So thank God, Zena, my head coach, put me onto her. She's actually her best friend. Now I've got an admin person, a sales person, and also an appointment setter within the sales process. So we've done a two-step process. Also DMs, my DMs were getting flooded. I needed to delegate that. Actually, that was the second person I delegated. So I had a coach, a DM setter, then an appointment setter and salesperson, then an admin person. So now I've got those people doing a lot of things. Now we've grew the coaching team to 4 coaches, the sales, 2 salespeople, 1 appointment setter, 2 DM setters. We've got 1 admin girl. She uses all the CRM systems. That's working really, really well. And then also I have just hired, I'm just training and hiring a Facebook ads team. So now I can give, because in my program we give away 1 month of free Facebook advertising. I was doing all the setup and that. So now I pay somebody to do that. So now what's left for me? Content creation, working on the business, networking, growing. And let me tell you, that has allowed me to go from 20K per month to almost 200K per month. Having all these systems. And now we're just building the foundation system so we can scale to 3, 4, 500K a month. You know, but
Yeah.
it's all that infrastructure. Infrastructure is massive. Team building is massive. Actually, the seven, no, not that one. The 7 pillars. The 6 pillars of business. The growth enablers and the growth drivers. So sales, marketing, and client fulfillment are the drivers, and then we have the enablers, systems and operations, team building, and there was one more, finances.
Yeah.
Finances. So yeah, focusing on all the foundational work first before every time I scale up to a new level, I make sure my systems and operations are solid, 100% ready. Then I can scale the next level. Now we've scaled to a point of say spending 550 a day, 2 sales guys, appointment setter. The sales team is good. I know right now they're at capacity. That's it. I need another gun, salesperson, I need another. It's just duplicating the process really. Once you have one infrastructure, duplicate, 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 and then you can scale, scale, scale. So that's what we're working on now, getting to the next level, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 months. We're just solidifying everything and then boom, next. It's a game of stages, I guess. It's a levels game.
100%. Yeah, I always draw like a sort of steps going up S curve. So you stagnate, you hit a ceiling. Sounds like you're kind of about to hit that ceiling, and then you go up. You change some systems, change some things. You go on the vertical, and then you go on the horizontal again, because you can't. You've hit your ceiling again. Make some changes, go up again. Sounds like you're
Correct.
about to hit one of those ups again, which is exciting, man. Scary,
It,
but exciting. I
it is.
love the fact that the growth enablers you talked about, systems, finances, admin. These
Mm,
things are not the things that are talked about enough on Instagram. It's all sales and marketing, isn't it? It's barely
mm,
even client fulfillment. Like, I love that you hired a
yeah.
coach first to make sure your clients were happy, because most people would say, go and get a salesperson, get more sales in. But if you can't deliver to the people you're selling to, what's the point? I hit that recently. I was like super busy. We were done for your agency like you, man. And my delivery was starting to suffer because I was like, I can't do all this myself. So hire some marketing people, sacrifice that, make less money per client, but then you give yourself the capacity to get more
Mhm.
clients because then you can do it,
Exactly.
man. It's such a backward system the way people we're taught to run businesses by flashy people Instagram, but that's how they sell things, I guess, man.
Mm.
You're not going to make a bunch of Instagram sales by saying, "Here's the ultimate standard operating procedure for onboarding a new client." You know,
Yeah.
it's just not sexy, but that's the stuff that makes real
Mm.
change.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And I'm not willing to compromise my quality for money. I won't do that. It's not
No.
in me. I need to keep the quality up. So that's why we are now working on growing teams, expansion, all that type of stuff.
Mm,
Then we can grow, you know. So yeah, it's a backward system, definitely.
I love it, man. I am all about making people happy, and it comes back into the long term thing again, right? You know, how much
100%.
better off are you having uh, people work with you for a year, 2 years, rather than having more sales in this quarter and then people dropping off because you're not delivering the results. Long
Exactly.
term thinking, and that's what you're all about, Ali. You're the
Exactly. It's
main
all about
man.
long-term thinking, guys. It's all about long-term thinking. It's so important.
Yes, no, you're a freaking amazing guy, man. And I think like there was a lot of tangible stuff I wanted to get into, like TikTok ads and that sort of thing. But I think like what you've given us today is just the macro way to approach a business in a way that we don't hear enough, which is, you know, long term, it's expect some failures, increase your capacity, be resilient, hire some great people, and don't
Mm.
focus on how much money you can make today. Focus on how much money you can make in 10 years.
And always reinvest back into your business, guys. The first 2 years, just reinvest. Invest in people, invest in ads, invest in PR, invest in agencies, invest in better people that are going to enable you to grow. You know, that's where the finances come in. Don't worry about the money you're making right now. If you want to think as a company owner, as a business owner, somebody that wants to last 10, 20, 30 years, you must be understanding the snowball effect of things, and you have to put in money to make money. That's what it's all about.
100%, man. Well, I couldn't agree more. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that you got to invest more, and I can't believe some of the bills I get these days are like what I used to pay. And I,
Crazy.
yeah, but yeah, it's there. You know, that's what business is all about, man. So yours with 25 staff on would be significantly higher than mine with 6 staff, and you're a very calm, level-headed dude. And I applaud you for everything you're doing, man. Well done.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for having me, man.
No
Um,
worries. So
nice
we're
speaking.
gonna drop all your links and everything all over these podcasts, all over the videos, and we're gonna make sure that people know all about Ecom Goats, your coaching, and if they're an e-commerce brand, then you guys can really. I've seen some results. You've got the results. You can get them some more sales, especially coming into Christmas. I'm sure you're a busy boy right now.
Very busy, but thank you very much, man. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Oh no, well, thanks for being here. I had you, but
Thank you.
anyone listening to the show live or on the recording, we're really, really blessed to have you listening as well. Thank you so much, and hopefully you'll be seeing me and Ali in a room together in the next few months when I finally make my way out to Western Sydney,
Amazing.
brave Parramatta Road, and get myself off the beaches for once.
Yeah, nice. What
Yeah,
are you gonna do? You gonna open up a studio?
no, I wanted to come and say hello.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Yeah, man. I'll be there. We'll all hang out. Me, you, Adam, and Andrew. We'll all have a little coffee one day.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll be back next week with another episode of Coaches to the Moon. Until then, much love and peace out.